to open it up. Proud of our guys. Road win um, in the conference on the road. Tough environment. Excited, especially about that defense. We offensively again had our issues for brief moments of time that led to our defense playing 58 snaps in the first half, and on the road in their house against the fourth-ranked team or fourth-ranked offense in the country, gave up 10 points. And to me, that was the key to the ball game, was the situations that they were put in the first half by our offense and by our special teams, for them to respond and us still have a 21 to 10 point lead there at halftime was crucial. And then for us to come out and kind of finish the game, I think our offense got on track a little bit, and again, hats off to the defense. Turned them over twice again, and then for all intents and purposes, minus that last drive when we were up by 21 with 2 minutes left. I think going into that drive, they had 17 points and 380 yards, which, for the fourth-ranked offense at home, that's a pretty good day at the office for our defense. Offensively, again, a lot of yards, not a ton of points for as many yards as we got. So we got to clean up what and how we're doing in the red zone, and then obviously short yardage. Just spent a lot of time these last 2 days just reevaluating what our philosophy is and just who we want to be, short yardage and red zone, to make sure that we're more efficient. We need to be more efficient in those two areas to go the places that we want to go. I know that the total numbers through a third of the season are really, really good offensively, but the one that sticks out to me is I think we're in the hundreds in red zone scoring, which is one of our plan to win. Play great defense, win the turnover battle. We're doing both of those really, really well. But score and prevent touchdowns in the red zone, we're not, and we're not doing it well on defense either. So spent a lot of time these last 2 days evaluating what we do offensively and defensively in the red zone, and then hopefully, it's tough because you're down 2 days of preparation. So we played 90 snaps offensively and defensively Saturday, and we were again out on the field in pads on Sunday, right around 24, 26 hours later with a 2-hour-long practice in pads. And so our guys are, and that's what we do. That's our culture. I don't know what SMU's doing. Don't really care how they're getting ready for this game. But I know for us, we're going to put our pads on and hit each other, and because that's the kind of culture that we want to bring to the table Thursday night. So with that, we'll take questions. Yeah, I know. Just getting better in the red zone and short yardage, and then I think our quarterback, for whatever reason, was a bit out of sorts in the throw game and the read game, and we asked him to do a lot of reading in the run game, and he didn't make great decisions. So a lot of area of improvement for the offensive side of the ball. I was, again, I don't know that I've ever felt worse after 638 yards and 38 points on the road in a win, but there was a lot of moments in that game that were not up to our standard. You've got the microphone. Go ahead, Joseph.
Tom, on the red zone, is it execution? Is it just maybe the situation where the play breaks. I mean, when you went back and looked at everything, what exactly are you?
It's everything. It's we're probably not doing the greatest of jobs getting our guys in the most advantageous play. When we're in the red zone and we're in short yardage, we're going to go fast. That's our MO. We're not going to take our time and run in some jumbo package and put 3 D linemen in the game and we're not good enough to do that. We're not good enough on the offensive line to do that. So we're going to go fast, and sometimes that can lead to some confusion on our part as much as the defense's part. And so we've got to weigh the negatives with the positives. You know, we went fast with Greg's run and on 3rd and short, and it turned into a 36-yard touchdown because they weren't lined up right. And so there are positives and negatives, and then it is execution, I think, a little bit. And Joseph, to be quite honest with you, this is Division I football, and at some point you're always, the math, you keep doing the math, and you say, okay, well, we'll put another tight end in the game. Great. Well, they add another person in the box. Well, we'll put a wing in the game. They'll add another person in the box. We'll put a fullback in the game. They add another person in the box. At the end of the day, the guy that's carrying the football can't block for himself. And when you're in the red zone, especially or on the goal line, because they don't have to defend the length of the field, there's going to be a free hitter. There's going to be somebody unblocked, and we've got to do a better job at the tailback position, too, of lowering our pads and running that guy over for 1 yard. To get stood up on the goal line in short yardage or get tackled kind of sideways, that's not good business. We got to be the aggressor down there. So offensive line's got to get a little more push. We got to do a better job as play callers of getting them in an advantageous play, and then the tailback's got to do a good job of running over the free hitter for an extra yard.
Tom, at halftime of the telecast, you mentioned that it's the culture of this program to go for it on 4th down. What's the big key in order to get more improvement in that area and to help build that culture even more?
Yeah, well, again, they're the same issues because all of our issues, it was 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, except for the punt that the kid was poorly coached to run the football on. But the other 2 that we didn't get were 4th and 1 or 2, and so it goes back to the same short yardage issue. We just got to do a better job of those 3 things that I said, of getting more push up front and putting them in an advantageous position to get that push, and then our tailbacks going and creating a yard or 2 for us after contact.
Coach, I guess how encouraging is it that you feel the way you do about your offense, yet they still put up those numbers, like you said, and Greg Ward, you said he still needs to improve a lot, but yet he still puts up those numbers and he still gets recognized with the conference as Player of the Week.
He was Conference Player of the Week? Is anybody going to tell me that? It did? Like while I was at the podium? Yeah. So you're going to tell me that next time? Appreciate that. No, you're good. It's not your job. I don't. There's a really high expectation level around here. We've got really good coaches, and we got what we feel like are some pretty good players that, and quite frankly, we're playing a defense that had been struggling lately too. So the expectation around here is when you add all those things up, then the level of play should be a lot more consistent and to that expectation level, and it wasn't. And Greg's got, he's barely scratching the surface right now, in my opinion, in terms of his development as a quarterback. Tremendous athlete, again, but he didn't do that. Coach Applewhite didn't do that. I didn't do that. The man upstairs and mom and dad did that. So he can take no credit for that, and neither can Coach Applewhite or myself. But the one thing that he was, in my opinion, getting better at was just kind of the overall development of being a quarterback and reading the defenses and seeing the field and managing the offense and all of that, and just kind of, again, took a little bit of a step back. Nothing panic-inducing by any stretch. We need him to play better, more consistently.
Coach, with Kyle Postma not having had as many reps at quarterback as Greg did and Adam did, obviously, before the injury, how comfortable would you be with him at this point if he was forced to come in if something happened to Greg?
Great. He's It's weird. The kid's a weird dude, man. He's you put him out there, and he's gonna make some of these unbelievable throws, and like see a guy that's not even in his read, but he's open, and he throws it to him, and it just happens to be complete. And you ask him, Kyle, he's got that kind of Southern gentleman, what do you call it, Bama swoop haircut, but he's kind of a surfer dude too, and and he looks at you, Kyle, how in the heck did you complete that pass? And was I not supposed to throw it to that guy? It's like, well, it's not really part of the read, and look, he was open, right? And it's like he just has a knack for finding those guys, and so I don't do it justice. My imitation of him doesn't do him justice probably, but yeah, we'd be very confident with him going in. Would prefer that scenario not come up, but I think everybody on the team is, one of our mantras is competitive focus, meaning when your number's called, you're ready to go. And I think when and if Kyle's number's called, and that he'll be ready and be competitive.
Tom, what is it about Stephen Taylor that makes him so effective, especially getting to the quarterback both mentally and physically?
He just goes. He goes and he goes and he goes and he goes and he goes. The guy's got tremendous motor, especially he's a good practice player. I wouldn't say great, could get better, but tremendous motor on game day. I mean, he takes hits and gets hit about as hard as it comes. I mean, just snap after snap after snap. And you're like, Steve, you need a break. No, coach, I'm good. And it just goes and goes and goes. And to me, that's a credit to the high school program that raised him in Cedar Hill and Coach McGuire and those guys up there. Obviously, they're breeding champions up there at Cedar Hill, and it's very evident in Steve and the way that he plays that I'd like to think our culture has something to do with it, and it does. But he was raised right. I mean, he was taught at a young age how to play this great game, which is ferociously, and he just, I mean, that's the best answer I got. He just goes, man. I mean, picks himself back up and go, do it again. And he's a really good fluid athlete, so he misses very few tackles too, because he can adjust while he's running full speed. A lot of guys, even the Adrian McDonalds and the Landon Roberts of the world, who we think are captains, they've got to kind of come to balance a little bit to make an open field tackle. Steve has this innate ability, because he's so athletic, to kind of bend and contort at full speed and still make a tackle.
Coach, you mentioned there earlier about the defensive unit moving forward, short week, expectations, how far they've come to this point. Well,
the good thing is there's a lot of carryover, both offensively and defensively. So for us, I think when we turned on the SMU film, both sides of the ball kind of took a big sigh of relief and said, okay, it's on defense they're a 4-3 quarters defense. That's what we just got done playing. On offense, they're a tight end spread, run the ball, take shots deep kind of outfit. And so they're very similar on both sides of the ball. So the expectations of our defense every week is to play great. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. We don't put any numeric measurements on that. I got done with that. I got on the bus after the game to go back to the airport, and I ride with the defense because I like riding with tough guys. I don't like riding with soft guys. So I ride with the defense, and so I'm on the defensive bus, and I said to Todd Oleno, I said, did you ever think when you started in this profession 20 years ago that you would get on the bus feeling bad about 38 points and 638 yards on the road against a conference opponent and feel good about giving up 24 points and 430 yards? I mean, it's crazy, but they played great defense. The last drive excluded, which you can't. I mean, those numbers will be there forever. But for 58 minutes, I mean, played great defense. And we have that ability to do that. And now what the numbers are at the end of the day, I don't know. All I care about is us winning and keeping them out of the end zone.
Tom, it looks like you flipped your tackles this week. Is that just about getting some time where you're more comfortable with the guys that were, playing left and right, where you can?
No, it was last week. Marcus Oliver got rolled up an inside drill, got a little owie on his ankle, and did not practice well, and so didn't feel comfortable putting him out there in the game limping around, and so he's cleared full speed. He's still kind of gimping around a little bit, so we'll see how he progresses in this short week. But if we had to play tomorrow, the depth chart would look the way that it does, with now Coop back to tackle and Josh Thomas playing guard and Marcus Oliver being the next guy in.
Tom, I know you just mentioned that there are some similarities and a little bit of carryover from Tulsa's offense to SMU's. In looking at SMU's offense specifically, what are some of the things that really stand out?
You got to stop the quarterback. You got to stop the quarterback. You got to hem him in. You got to get pressure on him because he's a good enough thrower to. If you let him stand back there, he'll beat you with his arm. But boy, if we give up there was a couple key third downs that Tulsa converted that. We had everybody covered, and we were just a half a man wrong in our rush lanes, and the QB kind of squirts out, and then he gets a first and slides. Well, this kid's not going to just get the first and slide. I mean, that could be a really dangerous, explosive play, and so you got to contain him. It's probably, I'm sure, what people say about us. Let the kid, you give him time, he'll probably hurt you with his arm, and. But if you're not disciplined in how you attack him, getting after him a little bit, then he'll hurt you with his feet. Tons of history, in fact. Yeah, we obviously know each other really well. And then when he was at Clemson and I was at Ohio State, we try to, every year professional development, as you will. And so for 2 years in a row, our offensive staffs met together. In fact, we met together before the 2013 season in the spring, and then we wind up playing Clemson in the Orange Bowl that year. And then we met again the following spring going into the 2014 season. And so we've shared a lot of ideas together, very similar philosophies when it comes to offensive football. And I've gotten some good thoughts from him. I'm hoping he got a few from me, and then in the off season we talk quite a bit. I consider him a friend.
What's the remainder of the week look like for you guys with it being a short week? Yeah,
again, yesterday, I mean, it's crazy. Isn't it crazy? Crazy to think that these Gladiators played 90 snaps. I mean, they're broken fingers and bruised bones and dislocated shoulders, and 90 plays all in the name of the red and white, and then boom, we're right back at it 26 hours later, putting the pads on and going out and having an hour and a half, 2 hour long practice last night till 8:30 at night, banging into each other for 2 hours. And so today will be, again, just kind of the way our culture operates around here. We're going to put the pads on again, and we'll have a good hour and a half long practice. Basically what I've done is cut some of the individual time, cut maybe some of trying to trim the length of the practice to kind of ensure our freshness and how long we're just out there on our feet, and the volume that we're loading the legs with. But in terms of the intensity and level of practice, that's not going to change. Today's like a Wednesday for us, and then tomorrow will be like a Thursday, and we'll go out and what we call spiders, just those little kind of under shells that protect their shoulders, and we'll have a full speed 18-period practice, just no hitting, which is a normal Thursday for us. Friday will be a walkthrough, or Wednesday will be a walkthrough, and then we'll go to the hotel and have a couple walkthroughs day of the game and come play our game like a regular night game.
Crazy, that quick turnaround. How did you feel the guys responded last night, and are they embracing that challenge?
It was our best Tuesday practice that we've had, and I know that you guys. Well, yesterday was Sunday. For us, our body clocks and mind clocks work. I don't even know what month it is. I know it's week 5, and then today is Wednesday of week 5. Now for you guys, it's Monday, October 5th, but for me, this is the Wednesday practice of week 5, and so last night was by far our best Tuesday practice, and I don't know if it was because it was later in the day. We went in the stadium under the lights because it was we don't have lights on our practice field, so we had to go in the stadium to practice at night. But for whatever reason, they came out, and it might be. I mean, you know, I don't know that enough has been said in here about, you know, this is the battle for the great state of Texas in this conference. You know, we're the only 2 teams in the state of Texas in this conference. And for us, this is a really, really, really big game. And because we run into these guys in just about everything we do, from recruiting to exposure to media market to you name it. You know, and we want to make sure that we have bragging rights for the entire year in the great state of Texas.
You mentioned it last night, but can you kind of take us through your thinking right now on the kicking position and how critical that is to, you know, to get that resolved and be able to get some consistency there?
Yeah, and people want to wonder why we go for it on 4th down, right? I mean, it's bad. We have 2 Division I kickers on scholarship right now that you only get 85 of them, and we've got 2 invested in 2 kickers that. The one guy in Bullard, you know, hasn't played real well, and so just like we would with any position, a guy that's not playing well, you know, the next guy in line is going to have an opportunity to take the job. And so last night we had we ended practice with a, you know, I think it was. They kicked 5 or 6 or 8. I can't remember how many they kicked, but with the whole team around them, music blaring, team screaming at them, squirting bottles of water, throwing hats at them, the whole 9. And we'll do that again today and tomorrow, and make a decision on you know, either Wednesday night or Thursday on who the guy is, who's going to be the guy that jogs out there and kick field goals. I hate kicking field goals. I mean, I really do, and it's not because of we haven't been good at them lately. It's because, again, the numbers and the percentages and the metrics tell you that, you know, somewhere in that, you know, 4th and medium to 4th and short range, if you're in field goal range, the risk reward is probably better for you to even go for it on 4th down, especially when you've got a good defense like we have. So I don't see our philosophy there in 4th down changing much, but I think the fact that we have underperformed in that area here these last few weeks hopefully gives a little bit more even credence and credibility to why we decide to go for it on 4th down. Good? All right, go Cougs.